Hello?
Hello. Welcome. Here, let me pin you. Welcome.
Wait, I can't hear you. Do I have to
Oh,
be on the stream too?
wait, I got it. I got it. You can hear me now.
Hell yeah, I can.
Welcome. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
So you're talking about Ruth Crawford Seeger.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite composers and I feel like people should know about her.
Yeah, you can start talking whenever you're ready.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, so she's Ruth Crawford Seeger is like an early 20th century composer. So like from like the early 1900s, kind of like as like modern music, quote unquote, for classical world people started coming out. Um, and I think she's just obviously she's a woman composer that everyone forgets about. Um, but she got like fucked over by all these like dude composers at various points in her life.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, she started as like a piano teacher, and then eventually was like, oh, maybe I want to try composition, and went to school in Chicago and met up with this cool poet, who she worked with a bunch. Carl Sandburg, another cool poet person. Um, and everything was going hunky dory or whatever, but like all the cool composers were in New York. So she was like trying to go there, and one of her friends was like, "Oh, you should study with this uh, Charles Seeger person who would future be your husband." But Charles Seeger was like, "Oh, I don't teach women, basically," and all
Ugh.
this like yeah, all this fucked up shit. So she had like her friend specifically like be like, no, you need to like take on this person. And somehow after, him being all shitty, she was like, oh, I guess I'll marry you. Don't understand how that worked out. But, so she started like writing a lot. Her like big piece is from 1931. She wrote this like really popular string quartet that won an award. So she's like doing really well and like has all these cool pieces coming out, even though they're not getting performed a lot. And then her like composer friend group, they're like called the ultra modernists,
Mhm.
which I think is like a like funny word. Like how many people get the ultra uh, tacked on to whatever they're being called.
Yeah.
Um, so that I just like that. But anyway, so all these people who they're all equals on the composition level. They were like joining up to like start a group of composers together, and like she was among one of the most popular of them for having this like big work come out. But basically, as the story goes, they're like all getting ready to have this big meeting, and she's essentially like asked to like go get something or like go run an errand, and when she comes back the door is locked, and like they just kick her out of the meeting, and she's like not a part of it, or like not a part of the group.
That's
uh,
so. What the hell?
yeah, and like I don't know how true that story is, but like that's how all the people like to tell it. Like I don't, it didn't, maybe it wasn't that specific, but basically just like they were just like, oh fuck her for no reason. And yeah, so she ends up marrying this Charles Seeger character who, even though all these books talk about how they were in love or whatever, I just always like, eyeballing him because like, what the fuck's your deal?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so she stops writing music for a while and only focuses on folk music, like American folk music. And like that's her daughter or her grandson, Peggy Seeger. And there's like Pete Seeger. Like those are like big folk musicians now. Because she died in 1953. So anyway, but so she had all this folk stuff, kind of because her husband was like, "You can't write classical music anymore. You got babies to take care of."
I did
So
not. That's so crazy. People. I feel like because I know who Pete Seeger is, but I had no idea
yeah,
about this legacy.
yeah, and like obviously her contribution to like folk music was like really important. and cool, but like no one remembers her as much because like
Mm.
her classical music pieces are like beautiful and like have like a lot of cool diversity to them and all this stuff, and no one even cares. I'm always just like, but and like the big sad thing about her story, so she like does all the kids thing, all their kids are getting older, and she like decides in the 50s to like get back into like the classical world of music making, and writes one piece and like finishes some other projects and stuff, and she like has this journal entry. The other cool thing about researching her is that she like kept really detailed diary entries of
Mm.
everything she did, like every person she met, she would like diary entry her like first impressions of them.
Oh shit! Will you give me my computer charger, Maddie? Sorry. Technical difficulties. Go on. She had diary entries.
Yeah, so I just like that, like I want to keep diary entries of every time I meet someone for the first time. That's sick. So anyway, so there's all these like specific things she tells. So when she first got back into music, she was writing about like how happy she was to finally like get back into it and like have the, maybe she got like more support from her husband there or whatever. And then like in the next year she like surprise got cancer and was like battling with that for the last year of her life. But before that she was like, my grandma lived to be 80 years old, so like that means I've got 40 years of composing left. And
Wow.
it's just like so heartbreaking that like, that obviously didn't get to happen. But yeah, I think that was my big plug for Ruth Crawford.
Yeah. Tell us more about the music. I want to
Yeah.
describe it.
Okay, so I think like a good piece is like yeah, her string quartet, which I guess I don't know, like for like string quartet, like strings and string quartets are like often in movies and stuff and are very theatrical, and I feel like her piece is like so dramatic, like it has this really specific movement that's all about like dynamics. So all the four members of the string quartet are like always either really quiet or really loud, but they're never at the same loudness at the same time, if that makes sense. So they're like interjecting on top of each other. um I don't know, but yeah, I don't know how to better explain it, but it's just like
Like
for me,
conversational, kind of.
yeah, yeah, it's really intuitive to listen to, because I think that's the other thing about a lot of classical composers and stuff, is that people think it's like really hard to listen to, or like, like a little advanced. But with her stuff it was like so it's so easy to understand what she was going for, and like her ultra modernist style, which is really funny that she's labeled as that. But music music historians love to come up with fake words. But um yeah, I just really like her stuff. And I was I saw everyone else's topics from the other show, and I just like when it gets really specific, so I was like, hell yeah, let's get specific.
Yeah. Have you played her compositions?
So I haven't, because she wrote a lot for piano because she was a pianist, and those are really hard, and I am bad at piano. But there's this one that's like literally a minute long called "Exercise in Mixed Accents," and it's just about like it's like really fast piano with like weird offbeat accents,
Mm.
and it's like really like people love to play it, even though it's like written as an exercise. It's just like really exciting. And I also love when classical musicians write pieces that are only a minute long. I'm like, hell yeah. Um, but yeah, no, it's her stuff. I would love to play some of it, but she never wrote for like or that big of an orchestra. So
Mm.
um, I wouldn't. I would only get to play it probably if there was like a trombone part, but so I haven't done that. But I've always had like, oh, like when I like, like try to get her stuff played more, because I also haven't seen much of it played either, because she's like not that popular.
Mm.
Um, so that's like, I mean that's also just like the classical musical thing too, is like it's hard to see stuff get played. Period, unless it's like Beethoven or Mozart or something that all the old people with money like. So you know.
Yeah. What is that? What is it called in music composition if you like what would it be like if you um altered her compositions to make them playable for trombone?
Oh
What's
yeah,
that called?
that would be like an arrangement. And I mean, technically, secrets out of the bag. There's a
Oh,
lot of Space Camp songs that have
really?
Crawford songs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is funny. If I always put like I'll put some of her pieces on like a Space Camp inspo playlist for me and Sam, and Sam will be like, "What's going on?" And then I'll like show her what I want to like pull from it or what I was inspired to do from it, and she's like, "Oh, that makes sense." So yeah, I'll have to I'll have to send a little playlist that has the hot tracks on it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's wow. That's so cool. Who would have guessed, you know?
yes, yeah. So that's definitely the closest I've gotten to playing her stuff. Is the last track on the Space Camp album there is like a theme taken from a Ruth Crawford piece. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I she's cool. I guess also just like as a question for you, what because I'm always wondering like what classical quote unquote musicians do you think of when I said that? Because I it could have also this could have also just been like a general like music talk too. So
Yeah.
yeah, who do
What
you
a
think?
my brother is really into opera. I think he
Oh, sick.
minored in opera in college. So we listened to a lot of opera growing when I was growing up, but um I like Mussorgsky. I don't know a lot of classical music by name,
Ooh,
but
I
I
don't even
love
know
hearing you
that
talk
one.
about it. Go on.
Who's Mussorgsky?
Doesn't he does the hut on Fowl's legs? He does that the pictures at the exhibition. Is that Mussorgsky? Let me look that. Yeah. But I always liked it cuz it was like ballet music.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
always thought that like cuz it all has like a concept to be danced to or whatever.
yeah. No, that's sick. I love that. Like the full opera scale. Then it starts getting like really all aspects of drama start getting involved. So then you can get like freaky dance stuff starts happening too. So
And
yeah,
costuming. Would you ever write an opera?
I would, but it sounds hard. Like I have a hard enough time writing, space camp music and music for like two people. So a lot of people have to be involved, but it would be cool. I saw a really good puppet opera over the summer. It was like it was like all recorded by real people, but instead of like a performance, because they couldn't have like a real performance, they just used puppets.
Mhm.
And the opera happened to be about like a missing sanitary wipes in like an apartment building. Um, so and everyone was like blaming each other on like who had the wipes. It was really good. Another link I'll have to send you. But like the modern opera thing is seems more fun too, because like no one's doing the traditional like singing about how much you love someone and then like the king comes and murders you or something.
Yeah.
Classic opera plot, but
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. June, you have 2 minutes left. Do you have any final thoughts about Ruth Crawford Seeger?
um she is cool and people should just listen to some of her stuff. That's all. That's my big thought, my big plug.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on here, and also happy birthday again, even though I
Thank you.
know we're a couple days past now, but
Yeah.
still your birthday.
Thank you. Feel free to leave the Zoom whenever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you, June.